If there's one thing the Destiny 2 community loves more than anything, it's a challenge. Whether it's doing solo flawless runs of dungeons, solo Grandmaster Nightfalls, or chasing those ever so important green dots on Trials Report again, Destiny 2 players are always up to the task when the gauntlet is thrown down. I learned this the hard way in my most recent $1,000 challenge for the community, when I asked people to solo flawless Root of Nightmares. That sure did seem like the impossible task, right? Well, I was wrong. My challenge was so impossible that someone beat it in 4 days. If there's one thing I've learned about this community in the nearly 10 years of this franchise, it's that you don't challenge low manners, because they will find a way to get the job done. With that in mind, what do you think happened when Noah Lee, Associate Activity Designer at Bungie, challenged the community to complete a full 50-wave run of Legend Onslaught solo without dying?
I think it's not possible. That's my charge to the community. Can you beat Legend solo by your, obviously that's what solo means, but can you beat Legend on solo?
Someone's got to do it.
This is how the Destiny 2 community rallied to achieve the world's first solo flawless run of Legend Onslaught. This video will go into some deep science as to how it was done, some of the builds, and some interviews as well with the winners. So without further ado, let's get into it. Speaking of Legend Onslaught, make sure you guys are there on my stream at EvanF1997, because there will be exclusive Twitch emblem drops for watching the stream. We are doing this activity called Endless Onslaught. Myself, Fallout Plays, and Sammy Cat will be facing Team Sweatsicle and Team CB Gray. I live with those guys, so I gotta make it known who's the best roommate in the house. All right, make sure you guys are there. It's on the screen. Everything's on the screen. Make sure you're there. All right, enjoy the video. Destiny 2 Into the Light released on April 9th of 2024, bringing back some of the community's most loved and cherished weapons for people to grind for. Into the Light also featured a brand new activity called Onslaught, the Horde mode that we've really all wanted for a while. The mode features 2 difficulties, 3 if you count a match-made one, but Normal and Legend. Normal is generally speaking quite easy to complete, but Legend is a different story. Why is Legend Onslaught so much harder? Well, for waves 1 through 10, the player is at -10 power level. Waves 11 through 20, they're at -15. Waves 21 through 30, you're on contest mode at -20. Waves 31 through 40 is -25, which is Grandmaster Nightfalls. And wave 41 through 50, you're at -30. This added stakes, and if you died, you were done and you had to reset. The challenge is not only surviving and killing enemies, you need to defend the ADU, as well as completing objectives far away from the ADU at times. Juggling objectives as well as ensuring the safety of the ADU is gonna be difficult with 3 players. Now imagine solo. It is the ultimate test of build crafting as well. Everything needs to synergize in a way that promotes survivability, high damage, and above all, area control. This is exactly the kind of challenge that players have been wanting for a long time. Something that makes you have to use the best builds in the game, or you will fail. There's also the random nature of encounters, proving it's more difficult to prepare for, and stretching the loadout feature to its absolute limit. I want to say it's completely random, but as we'll get into, there's some weird science that I've learned by talking to low manners on how they got the clears. For example, on rounds ending with 1, 4, and 7, these are regular waves. So they're very short and there's only red bars and 2 or 3 orange bars. Rounds ending in 2, 5, and 8 are harder waves. They're much longer with yellow bar mini bosses and a champ at the end of the wave. But rounds ending in 3 and 9 are considered augment waves, which have additional objectives that you need to complete. These are demolitionists, 2 bosses that spawn near the ADU. They can and will teleport to the ADU and nuke it very quickly if you don't kill them first. There's sky bombers, which are 3 mini boss enemies that spawn spread out and will channel a ranged mortar attack on the ADU. These are very easy to deal with, as if you damage them at any time before they start the attack, they'll never do the attack, so you can just kind of shoot at them consistently and whittle them down. But then there's shielded sky bombers. These are boss enemies that require you to stand in a buff to break their shield. They also channel a ranged mortar attack on the ADU. For example, the Ogre for the Hive does not have a lot of health, but the Brig for the Fallen has raid boss health, it feels like. There's shielded demolitionists, which are 3 mini boss enemies that travel towards the ADU and require the same buff to break their shield as the shielded sky bomber. There's the tormentor, which, as you would expect, is a very large boy. You would think tormentors would be this ultimate challenge like they are for a lot of people, but for the low manners, tormentors were actually the easier ones to deal with. As long as you don't break his shoulders before clearing out the entire wave, you can almost kind of leave him alone for him to fight a decoy the whole time. Then there's mines, which are very, very annoying with 3, but imagine going in solo. This could be impossible if you get bad mine spawns. Generally try to detonate one of the bombs at the very start of the wave, and one after clearing all of the ads became the objective. Here's another piece of really random information that was very helpful for low manners on this challenge. On the augment rounds, so rounds ending in 3 and 9, the ads will always spawn on the left-hand side of the ADU. This is very Vostok specific, but assume that there's a set spawn on every single map for the augment rounds. You can already imagine how insanely difficult this challenge was going to be for low manners, and there was a lot of frustration along the path.
Yeah, nice, nice.
Dude. Nah, man.
Kill by the architects! What the fuck? It's over. Oh, I had a barrier and it pushed it back.
Of course, the biggest masochists in the world can all be found in the Destiny community. A ton of players attempted to go for solo flawless runs as soon as the opportunity arose. Now, I don't want to exclude anyone, as I know there's a lot of really talented people who have given it a go. All of them were getting denied by the luck of the draw. Just check out this heartbreaking clip from Esoteric's run where he got screwed over by splinter mines in the later stages of his run. He's obviously good enough to stay alive, but defending the ADU was just impossible in that situation. Sometimes though, you need to be the right level insane, and for that, you need to be a Frenchman. Given that he comes from the same nation as Charlemagne, the real one, and Napoleon, it's no surprise that Xeneris saw the legend onslaught existed and politely said,
Va te faire enculer.
YouTube, if you're watching, I don't speak French. I'm sure it means something offensive. Don't break out Google Translate, whatever you do. Oh no. I actually got the opportunity to talk to Xeneris about his challenge and ask him some questions regarding his really difficult challenge. Now, Xeneris only answered some questions while leaving some up for text. So while I'm going to let some of the audio play for some of the questions, I'm going to read some of the other responses.
How hard was this challenge compared to some of the other major challenges in Destiny? I don't think this challenge was that hard compared to others, to be honest. The hardest part is just to stay focused. Any fun thing you learn about this activity? I learned that shiny weapons don't exist.
I also asked Xeneris, would you say that Onslaught has been one of the better activities we've had in the game? He said that Onslaught is by far one of the best activities they've added to the game. I hope they'll continue to update it in the future with new maps, new enemies, and new difficulties. It could be a fun difficulty where enemies spawn on every spot or an infinite round game mode. The next thing I asked him was what kind of time commitment did he put into this challenge? Which Xeneris responded with, he said that he didn't spend a lot of time doing this challenge compared to others that he's done before. He tried some weird builds, and then he saw the build made by Mitch D2 working really well, and he started spamming solo onslaught at this moment. So I hope that Xeneris' story now makes him a household name. Now, you would see this accomplishment and see this as a big one. People in the comments on Twitter and on Reddit, of course, were not so happy, calling his clear nothing more than a cheese and waiting for other people to do it legit. But these are the same people that would happily do a Riven cheese, but would never even attempt this challenge. Look, guys, at the end of the day, we can sit here and say what we want about Xeneris' challenge. We can say that, oh, he's sitting in the rafters, he didn't get the clear. But A, I don't see you doing it. And B, at the end of the day, he had to do a bunch of rounds to even get to the boss room. So why is doing damage to a boss in a certain spot a big deal? You're still doing it solo on Legend. Ultimately, the next day, Vendetta would get his clear as well.
Yeah, baby! Oh, shit.
At the end of the day, I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on this challenge as a whole. For Noah Lee, he simply quote tweeted Xeneris' tweet and just said, "That guy for real." Then also going on to reply to Xeneris' full video clear saying this spot will be eradicated. So it's good to see that Bungie developers are actually having fun with the challenge overall. Me personally, I think Xeneris should get some sort of small reward, either an emblem or like a small little Shack's head like some other people got for clearing Legend Onslaught first, but that's just me. I think overall it's great to see people still going for fun challenges in Destiny, and I can't wait for the next one. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out these runners, make sure to subscribe, and until the next time, let me know what you want to see. I'll talk to you guys later.
It's three symbols, so it's three houses. Three.